Hi, and welcome to another installment of the Human Technology Tools videos. Now, the Human Technology Tools are designed to give you a reminder of how life works and a powerful application tool of that knowledge when you need it the most. Now, there are several of these tools, and they're all designed to be used together for any one reason. So, because each tool has its own, it's like a piece in a puzzle, and it plugs into another tool, and then by using all of them you get the synergy to achieve whatever it is that you want. Okay, now this particular tool that we are looking at now is called the Thought Virus Eliminator, and it's based on NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. And the whole idea is that once you change your mind, you do change your life. It's amazing. So that's the whole idea of this particular tool. It helps you change your beliefs. It's one of two of our current set of human technology tools for helping you change your beliefs. This is actually the easier one, and this is recommended for beliefs that are not that difficult for you to shift. We have a deeper, more complicated one for those beliefs that are very deeply rooted within you. So now you can download this PDF from happypocket.com, the address that you can see at the bottom of this video, happypocket.com. You can download this PDF and print it so you can use it whenever you need to, and you can also get more information on beliefs and a lot more and how they all work from the book A Happy Pocket Full of Life, also available from ahappypocket.com. So let's look at this tool real quick. Now, this tool is actually meant to be it's quite physical. So what you do is you mark, you don't have to draw, but you just mark 7 spaces on your floor. Maybe it could be in your office or at home or just outside, and mark them in the following 7 positions so that you can physically step into them. Okay, there's something that happens when you actually act something out. It really gets into your physiology, and that's a great core of neuro-linguistic programming, and this is an NLP technique actually. Okay, so mark 7 positions as you can see on your floor. Position number 1 is your neutral meta position. Meta means that you're sort of above. Imagine if you were to look at your life from a detached above space. Somewhere where you can look at your own life without really being attached to what's going on, a disengaged space. That gives you a feeling of seeing the bigger picture, being disengaged, not having to be all mired up in what's going on. And so that gives you a lot of access to your higher resources. So step into this position. Like I said, the book has more information on this, so we're just going to go real quick. So step into this physical space, and maybe look around you, notice what's going on around you, like the things that are things that are not really attached to your life that much. By that I mean, maybe if you're outside, have a look at the sky, look at the trees, look at just anything that is not really holding deep meaning to you, that can let you float to a place where you feel you're disengaged from your everyday challenges and life basically. So once you access that feeling of how it feels like to be in a neutral position, anchor and amplify that feeling. Anchoring means what? You maybe make a sound or make a face or pinch yourself. In other words, do something on your physical self that will allow you to associate this feeling of being neutral with that physical thing. For example, some people pinch their wrists. So when they have this neutral feeling, they might, for example, have a smile, or maybe tap their heart and have a smile. And so that next time, whenever they need to recall that feeling of being neutral, they're going to smile again and tap their heart, or something like that, you see? So that's what an anchor is. Just do something that when you do it next time, it will help you recall that feeling. Because imagine, let's say you're in a position where you're completely engaged in an aspect of your life, it might be very hard for you to recall how being neutral feels like. But if you have an anchor, then by tapping that anchor, it will trigger that feeling. It will help you. Now, the second space is called the space for old limiting beliefs. Here, what you do is you need to anchor and amplify the feeling of a belief that you once held, but now completely consider untrue, something that is, you don't even doubt that it's not true. For some people, for example, that might be the tooth fairy or Santa Claus. As a kid, they probably bought into it. Now they probably go, it's just a story. So anchor how that feels like. Having a belief that you once held, that you now consider untrue, okay? And by the way, you'd be stepping in space 2 while you're doing this. Now move to space 3, and space 3 is called the space of being open to doubting. Here, what you need to do is anchor and amplify the feeling of doubting something or not knowing something. Just recall, when have you last doubted something or not known something? And then anchor that feeling. You'll use it later. Then step into space 4, which we're going to call the Museum of Old Beliefs. Here what you need to do is anchor and amplify the feeling of beliefs that you've long since cast away, got rid of, retired, and completely forgotten. Just use your memory, and I'm sure you'll find something that you used to really believe in, and now you just, I don't know, you maybe even forgotten that you used to believe in. So anchor that feeling. It's quite similar to the all limiting beliefs box, yeah, but not exactly. Because all limiting beliefs, you still remember them. You still remember Santa Claus. But Museum of Old Beliefs is like you've maybe even forgotten, completely retired it, you've forgotten, and it takes a conscious effort for you to remember that you once actually believed something like that. So number 5 is a space of a new belief. Yeah. Here, it feels very free right now, but we're going to come back to it, and when we come back to it, we're going to anchor and amplify the visual, auditory, kinesthetic, meaning feeling, and the language of the new belief, but not just yet. Let's just leave that for now. Then number 6, you need to anchor and amplify the feeling of something you once did not believe in the past, but now are open to believing. Something that maybe in the past you just didn't believe it, but nowadays you're starting to think, that could be true. So you're open to believing. So anchor that feeling as well. And then step into space 7 and anchor and amplify the feeling of something that is sacred to you, something that is non-violable to you, something that is, we all have 1 or 2 things that we just feel that this is sacred and can never violate this. Okay. Once you've anchored all those spaces, 7 spaces, now the idea is to go through the process of establishing a new belief and getting rid of an old belief that you want to get rid of. So take the limiting or toxic belief that you wish to get rid of, yeah, and then what you're going to do now is physically take it through the spaces above, yeah, and then you feel how it interacts with each space, and then finally dump it into the Museum of Old Beliefs. So let's say you have a limiting belief, yeah, start at the neutral meta position, recall your anchor, and even just by being in that position will help you anchor that. Recall that anchor. So feel how, feel neutral even as you hold this limiting belief. Maybe before you were struggling with it and you hated it or whatever, but now in this neutral meta position you sort of have that feeling of freedom, because you're floating above it, you're seeing a bigger picture and you're not engaged. And then physically step into the old limiting beliefs box, and then as you hold this limiting belief that you want to get rid of, remember how it felt like when you lost your previous old limiting beliefs. Now let's recall that anchor and then bring that recollection to this limiting belief that you now want to get rid of. Do you understand what we're trying to do here? We're trying to upset the feelings that we typically, you have a limiting belief, you probably have a way you feel about it, maybe even feel victimized by it, or you feel helpless, like you can't shake it or whatever. Now what we're trying to do, what we're doing in fact by stepping in these boxes, is giving this feeling new feelings to this limiting belief, so that it can start to be upset, it can start to be shaken, yeah, from its roots. So when you step into the box of all limiting beliefs that you've already managed to get rid of, and bringing that feeling in as you hold the limiting belief that you haven't gotten rid of, you're starting to associate a new feeling with this limiting belief. So you're starting to gain power over it, in a sense, in quotes. Okay? And then step into box 3, where you're open to doubting. And again, bring up that feeling when you once had a feeling of doubting something. And then again, start to associate it with this limiting belief that you're now trying to get rid of. And feel how that is. You see, you're shaking the foundations of this new limiting belief by making it feel different, doubtful. Let that sit there for a while, and then physically step into the museum of old beliefs. Yeah? And then once again recall, using your trigger, your anchor trigger, how it felt to have long since cast away, how it feels when you recall a belief that you have long since cast away, you've retired, and you've completely forgotten that belief. It's like you're free and it's nothing. So bring that feeling in and associate it with this limiting belief that you're now attempting to get rid of. So let that merge and simmer there, so that way you can start to see. It's almost like visualizing. You can start to see that one day you will get rid of this limiting belief, maybe even by this afternoon, or by tomorrow morning it will be gone, because now you're giving it that feeling that, hey, I've put other beliefs in the museum, I know how it feels like, and you're on your way next. Okay, and then you could jump, you could go into step 5 as well. But in step 5, there's not really much to do except to feel and realize that this is an old belief that you're done with it. You no longer need it, and it's no longer new. Yeah. So you move on to step 6, whereby you associate the feeling of being open to believing with the limiting belief that you're getting rid of. Why would you want to do that? Because you're giving an idea that you're open to questioning. Beyond doubting, you're open to believing something new, instead of just holding on to the limiting old belief. It has some magic and power. Just try it, and then move on to the sacred space and let the limiting belief interact with your sacred space feeling, because then you'll see how much of a violation it is, and you'll be able to shake its foundation, because you realize it's violating your sacredness. Okay, and then when you're done moving it around all the 7 spaces, step back into the museum of all beliefs and literally dump it there. Just feel yourself dumping it there, letting it go there. Just dump it. Put it in the museum of all beliefs. Just let it slide down in there, and bring back that feeling of all the other beliefs that you've ever put into that you've ever cast away or retired and completely forgotten. Let it go there. So now it's time to do the new thing. So get your new belief, okay, and step into the new belief that you now want to anchor. Step into space 5. Now you need to visualize, see, how does the new belief look like? If there was a movie of your mind, how did it look like? Then how did it sound like? What did it feel like? What will be the language of this new belief? So bring back all those things and just stand in that space of number 5 for a while, okay, and let it all sink in. The visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and language elements of the new belief. And then once again, take it physically through all the other boxes. Step into box 1, see how that feels. Step into box 2, see how the new belief feels so nice and fresh compared to the old limiting beliefs, powerful and great and cool. Step into step 3, box 3, and use that feeling of being open to doubting to help you bring in the new belief. You can use the same energy to help you bring in the new belief, because makes you realize, hey, I'm open to doubting my old realities and what I thought before. and I'm open to this new belief is making me doubt the old one, so you can see how that will help you. You could, if you want, step into the Museum of Old Beliefs just to celebrate the fact that you now have a new belief that has replaced all the ones that are in your museum, and it's cool and you're holding on to it and you love it, so in this way you're not dumping it in the museum, you're just giving it a new relativity, see. And then you can go into step into box 6, where you're open to believing. Once again, bring that energy through to the new belief and see how that energy feels like. How do you feel like when you're open to believing something new? Associate it with this new belief you've got, and really always feel it properly. Feel the visual aspects of the new belief, the auditory, the kinesthetic, and the language aspects of this new belief. So even as you're feeling open to believing, you're open to believing these elements. So you have to make it real. That's even why we're stepping physically into boxes. You cannot do this in your mind. It's not going to work as effectively. And then step into the sacred space, and again recall that feeling and bring the new belief feelings over there, and associate sacredness with that new belief. Just associate that. Make that association. Associate the feeling of sacred space with the visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and language feelings of the new belief, and let it sit there and lock in. And then jump back into number 5 and really feel the new belief, and then say a big yes to it. See, nothing becomes a belief until you've made it a truth for you. And the way to lock in such a truth is also to give it elements of a good judgment. Judgment means good or bad. When you have a judgment about something, you're saying this is good or this is bad. So give it a good judgment. Give it an idea. This is good because blah blah blah. Have a new belief about that belief, that this is good because it's gonna make me a better person because blah. Anything you can come up with associated with that belief that gives you those feelings of those elements of it being a good judgment. And then also give it favorable consequences. Consequences are only two. There is punishment and there is reward. Reward and punishment, those are consequences. So make up things that feel real to you, consequences that are favorable. Maybe rewards, certain rewards, that because of this new belief, this is how my life is going to be better. List the rewards. Maybe I'll be, whatever. It depends on what belief you're trying to anchor there. And then see how it feels. Do you like that? How does it feel? Do you like it? Once it feels all good and you feel fine about it, and you're like, yeah, I feel good about this. I feel good about this belief. I feel good about the judgment about it, about the person I will be, or by holding this belief, I feel that the rewards are great for it. The consequences, the rewards are great for it. I like it. Because remember, the way you communicate to your higher self, and the way you install beliefs, and the way you discover beliefs is by rising in vibration. So you really have to feel. You can't just write it down on a piece of text and it's not going to become a belief that way. You have to feel it, and you have to feel good, positive, up vibration about it, liking it, adapting it, saying yes to it. And this is how you install new beliefs. And then finally, surrender and let go. Just let it go, because your higher self has got the message, and everything will be in order after that. So just surrender and let go. You don't have to fight with it anymore. You don't have to plead and beg about it all the time. Just do this process, surrender and let go. If you feel you need to repeat it tomorrow, fine, repeat it tomorrow, and then surrender and let go. Go about your things. Because you have to realize, the mind, just like your body, when you cut yourself with a knife by mistake, or you get hurt, your body automatically heals. It tends towards healing. Your mind is the same. The minute you stop messing around with it, your mind will automatically tend towards healing. Your thoughts will tend towards positivity. Your everything tends towards healing. Your whole system tends towards healing. Even when you have a terminal disease, in its own way, it's tending towards healing. So that's how it goes. So just surrender, let go, and trust once you've done the process. So thank you. And this tool actually works best. It's just a supportive tool. It's only there to help you adopt new beliefs. There's an even more powerful one. So by itself, it needs, you need to use it with the other tools in the Human Technology Toolbox. But thank you for your time.